Hello, I'm Jessica Ellison, and this is Sailing into Blended Learning, an overview of my online course for professional development with blended learning. So for the level of instruction, it would be in the style of professional development. My audience would be teachers, and the duration would be roughly about 5 weeks, maybe a little longer. The influence behind this is the COVA method. I was influenced by that COVA method in creating significant learning environments through blended learning. This is what I have developed my innovation plan around, and adding an online course through professional development will be just another component that will help me get others on board to making change in their classrooms. For the instruction, I was basing it on outcomes-based instruction because it creates deeper learning and understanding of the content. I do not want this course to become a box to check off on a teacher's to-do list that is never visited again. By using outcomes-based education, teachers can create something that is specifically designed for them that they can take back to their classrooms. And that deeper learning will help reinforce what they know whenever they're reaching the challenges of implementing blended learning in their classrooms as well. For mapping out the course, I have used a Fink's 3-column table to help me design the course. This design shows all the components of the course and what the student outcomes will be. The course also has an outline just kind of breaking down the different modules and what is expected each week throughout the course. The course will be set up as blended learning itself. Some of the parts will be face-to-face, some of the professional learning will be face-to-face, and some will be virtual and through discussion posts and Zoom calls. And so it will have a little bit of both. And this will kind of model that blended learning that if someone hasn't been through that before. For assessment, I am doing assessment as learning. I wanted to focus on that with this course. Teachers will have the opportunity to work on and create their own version of blended learning, and which will put them in control of their own learning as well. The professional development is just there as a guide and facilitator of the learning that takes place to kind of help support teachers. So when they do face those challenges, they're able to get the support they need to keep going so they do not get discouraged and not try to use this in their classroom. Each teacher will get out as much as they put into the course, and they will end up developing an individualized plan that they can use for their specific classroom, which would increase the likelihood that it would be continued to be used in their classrooms as well. I have started to create a Google Classroom to kind of get an idea of what my modules will look like on Google Classroom. I have a Start Here area, which is where you can find the details of the course outline. And here you can see the modules, starting out with some face-to-face modules, some call to action videos, trying to speak to the heart of why we would want to use blended learning in the classroom, and then getting some feedback on whether what the impressions are of blended learning, and maybe see if there are any reservations or misconceptions at the beginning stages. And then also going into module 2, kind of identifying more of blended learning and identifying the why behind teachers do what they do. And then in modules 3, 4, and 5, we start getting into creating some blended learning models for their specific classrooms. And so in this point, we will have modeled quite a bit, given plenty of examples, and just kind of there for support and providing feedback for those teachers who are creating a new significant learning environment for their classrooms with blended learning. In the 3-column table, you can see that I have my learning goals, learning activities, and assessment activities broken down. My big, hairy, audacious goal is learners will create a learning environment that prompts student choice, ownership, and voice through authentic learning opportunities by integrating blended learning. And it breaks it down into the different pieces of Fink's 3-column table. And back in Google Classroom, I've also started to build on a module, and each module will look something like this. It will have an introduction, the reading material for that week, the videos for that week or that session, and then the discussion question for that week or session. And then ending with a module activity of some type. The first one will be a feedback form, trying to get an idea of where teachers are with blended learning, and also that discussion question as well, kind of getting an idea of how they feel about blended learning and what misconceptions they might have. So with this blended learning course, I'm hoping to increase involvement of teachers on my campus with my innovation plan and get them on board and a little more comfortable with blended learning, especially after they have seen it implemented in some classrooms. And I'm hoping that this would be a success to get people to try this out and have this move further across campus and hopefully eventually across the district.